Shalom, Israel, shalom. Right, first and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto the Most High God Yahweh, by Shema Mashiach, woman like Shai. Right, mighty shalom to the brothers out there on the highways and byways, right, pushing this word, making the body a living sacrifice, right, keeping the commandments, and have faith in Yahweh by Shema Shai. I want to also give a mighty shalom to the sisters as well, right, give a reverence to your husband, right, holding it down in the household, keeping all things in order. Right, I want to give a mighty shalom to you all as well, keeping the commandments, have faith in Yahweh Shemel Shai. Right, today on this Mapogo Monday, we're going to be talking about obeying God rather than men, right? Because a lot of brothers and sisters are going to be testing these last days uh, on the point of, are you going to hearken unto the Most High God's words, or are you going to continue to follow after the philosophies and doctrines of this world, right? Ultimately, we're supposed to be going off of the doctrine of the Bible, right? And we need to have that certain discernment and righteous judgment to sift out who's telling the truth and who's telling the lie, man, right? So first and foremost, let's get Acts, right? Acts chapter 5 and verse number 29, all right? This is Acts chapter 5 and verse number 29. Then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, we ought to obey God rather than men, right? So with us obeying the Most High God, it ultimately comes with trusting the Most High God, with believing in the Most High God. So when you obey God, you keep his laws, statutes, and commandments. You show by action how you're going to obey him, right? The same way you do with your mother and your father, right? If they tell you to do something, you do it. You obey what they tell you and what certain rules is placed within the household, right? That's the same thing with the Most High God when he gives you rules and regulations and instructions to follow after them, so ultimately you'll have life, man, so that you can have eternal life, right? So that you can be saved out of this captivity, right? So I'm going to read it again. It says, then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, we ought to obey God rather than men. So it would be wise for you to obey God rather than men, because men will teach you, right, the commandments of men, right? That's ultimately what this world will push, right? Brothers that are still, and even sisters as well, that are still in this world, going after the doctrines and philosophies of this world, right? They teach you, shalom, King, shalom, right? They teach you, right, the doctrines of men. Let's get Mark, right? Chapter 7 and verse number 7. Mark chapter 7 and verse number 7, right? This is Mark chapter 7 and verse number 7. Howbeit in vain do they worship me, teaching the doctrines of the commandments of men. So there's a lot of our brothers and sisters out there that are worshiping the Most High God in vain. They truly do not have that true understanding on how to worship the Most High God, man. Right? They don't know how to worship the Most High God in sincerity and in truth, right? It ultimately comes down to them teaching the doctrines of the commandments of men. Those commandments of men could be celebrate Thanksgiving, right? Celebrate Christmas, right? They'll a lot of times tell you, Christ was born on December 25th on Christmas, right? And they try to push that doctrine saying that, oh, that's why we celebrate Christmas, when that's a lie, man, right? That's celebrating another God, man. And we're not supposed to be dealing with any other, with any false gods, man, because we have the one and true only God, which is Yahweh Bashim Shai, man, right? Verse number 8, it says, for laying aside the commandments of God, ye hold the traditions of men, as the washing of the pots and cups, and many other such like things ye do. So our people that teach the commandments of men, right, they lay aside the commandments of the Most High God, right? So they go off the doctrine of saying, we don't have to keep the laws of the Most High no more, right? They speak blasphemy, man, right? They push aside the commandments of God to fulfill their lust, right? To hold the traditions that they love dearly, man, right? They love to follow after the ways of this world, when the Most High God told us in 1 John chapter 2 and verse 15 on down to love not the world, neither the things that are in the world, For the love of those things they're not of the love of the Father, man. Right? So our people that go after the doctrine and philosophies and they trust in men, they go after the traditions of this world, and they were taught the commandments of men. Right? Verse number 9, it says, and he said unto them, full well ye reject the commandments of God, that ye may keep your own traditions, man. So they reject the commandments of God. Not only do they just put it away, they reject it, man. Right? They would much rather follow after the traditions of their oppressor or of men, period, than keeping the traditions, the culture, right? Keeping on hold of the history of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, man. And that's a problem, right, within our people. Our people need to kind of come out of the ways of this world and stop trying to trust in men. Because what happened to us while trusting in men, right? We ultimately got cursed, man, right? With us trying to make certain covenants with the heathen, man, right? With us bowing down to their idols, man, right? It caused us to be cursed because we didn't want to keep the laws. Because we want to push aside the laws of the Most High God and take on the laws of the heathen, man. Right? Let's get Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse number 5. All right? This is Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse number 5. Thus saith the Lord, cursed be a man, Salakia. Thus saith the Lord, cursed be the man that trusted in man. So that's playing upon tables, man. You're going to be cursed if you trust in men, right? Ultimately, you're supposed to trust in the Most High God and have that certain discernment and righteous judgment to find out, is this the brother or sister that's moving in the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shai, right? You can't kind of just walk into your church and automatically think, oh, the pastor is the Most High God is using the pastor. No, that's off, right? You need to have a certain type of discernment, righteous judgment to decipher who's being moved by the Most High God, man. Right? Who has that spirit of the Most High God in them, right? If they not pushing who you are, which is a Hebrew Israelite, right? If they're not showing the basic of the commandments or the commandments at all, right? Throwing away the shrimp, crab, lobster, and pork, putting on your fringes, right? A sister coming back to her modest apparel, a man coming back to his apparel, right? If these simple things are not being broken down within the church, what are you truly learning in your church, man? Right? A lot of the time, that's what our brothers and sisters gotta ask us. What are you truly learning in the churches, man? Right? Con request. Micah chapter 7 verse 5, right? Micah 7 and 5, it says, trust ye not in a friend, put ye not confidence in a God. Keep the doors of thy mouth from her that lieth in thy bosom. Right? That is a link up to Jeremiah 17 and 5, right? It says, trust ye not in a friend, right? Put ye not confidence in a God, right? You don't put your confidence in a God, right? Because that God, a lot of the times, could cause you to go off. And this is in a worldly in a worldly way, right? If your worldly guide is guiding you, is gonna guide you right into destruction, right? That guide is not of the Most High, right? That guide is not gonna speak thus saith the Lord, right? That guide is not gonna follow the law, statutes, and commandments. Instead, that guide is just gonna have you follow after the doctrines of this world, right? Let's get Colossians chapter 2 and verse 8, right? Because a lot of things getting ready to go down, man, in this world. Right? And ultimately, you want to have your trust in the Most High in these last days, man. Because these last days not going to be pretty, man. Right? And Lord willing, us brothers, us, keeping the commandments, have faith in Yahweh Shem Shai, doing the work of the Lord, Lord willing, we get saved out of here, man. All right? So this is Colossians chapter 3. Salakia. This is Colossians chapter 2, right? Colossians chapter 2 and verse number 8. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Christ, man. So you have to beware of these certain type of people, right? You have to beware of certain men that will spoil you through the philosophies of vain deceit, right? Because a man that will spoil you, he'll kind of deceive you, right? He'll speak out of his own mind, right? He'll bring upon his own opinions, and that's not something that we're supposed to be doing. We're not supposed to be going after our own mind or after our own thoughts, man. Because our thoughts are not the Most High God's thoughts, right? Let's get to Isaiah chapter 55 and verse number 8, right? We cannot be deceived by a certain man, huh? Right? Or men in general, right? Do not be deceived, right? You have to, that's why it goes back to you having that discernment, man. You need to have righteous judgment. You need to be able to decipher between good and evil, be able to prove what is good and what's evil, man. All right? And that's ultimately what brothers build each other up to be able to do, right? Is to prove what is good and evil according to the scriptures, right? Everything has to come from the scriptures, right? So like it, right? Finishing out on Colossians 2 and 8, it says, beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the traditions of men, right? That's what a lot of men out here are doing, man, right? They kind of deceive you into doing the traditions of men instead of the traditions of the Most High God, like keeping a feast of dedication, right? Feast of Tabernacles, right? First fruits, new moons, man, right? The Sabbath day. The men of this world, of the wicked society, are not going to try to push the commandments or the traditions of the Most High God upon you, right? The wicked men of this world, they're gonna kind of want you to go after the traditions of men because they want to see this world go on and on forever, and ultimately to see you destroyed, man. Right? There's a certain spirit upon them that would not want to see you get eternal life, right? And it's not after Christ, right? We're supposed to follow after the examples of Christ, man. Christ left us an example to follow after. So if Christ kept the commandments, hey, we have to keep the commandments as well, right? Let's get Isaiah chapter 55 and verse number 8, right? This is Isaiah chapter 55 and verse number 8. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither your ways my ways, saith the Lord, man. We don't have the same type of mindset as the Most High God, man. All right, us being in these fleshly bodies, man, your mind might go off sometimes, man. Right, you might slip up and then eat the pork, man. Right, and you gotta repent. You might be crying, man. Right, our mind is not like the Most High God's mind. Neither are our ways His ways, man. The Most High God is all righteous, man. Right, He is righteous in all His ways. Right, according to the Song of the Three Holy Children, right, or also known as the Prayer of Azarias, right, and I believe it's verse 6 on down, right? He's righteous in all His ways. Even all the evil that He has brought upon us, right, that was in righteousness, right? But our ways are not His ways. A lot of times brothers will go off, man, right? Sisters will go off, right? And brothers and sisters that's in the world, they go off constantly, man, and don't even really care about the consequences that come with it, right? So that's how you know our ways are not the Most High God ways and our thoughts are not His thoughts, man. So we can't go after our own thoughts because that's what caused us to kind of get in this captivity, right? Going after our own mind, right? Let's get Sirach chapter 5. Sirach chapter 5 in verse number 2, right? This is Sirach chapter 5, verse number 2. Follow not thy own mind and thy strength to walk in the ways of thy heart, man. So you can't walk after your own mind, right? And it says to walk in the ways of thy heart, man. The ways of your heart can kind of cause you to go off, right? The ways of your mind could kind of cause you to go off, man. So you cannot go after the ways of your mind, right? Because your mind will deceive you, right? Your mind will kind of cause you to think upon the things that you used to do and try to go and do them. Right? You might want to go back to your Christian pastor now. Right? You might want to go back to smoking and weed. Right? You might want to go back to selling to your people, robbing your people, man. Right? That's following after your own mind, but we're supposed to be better than that. We're supposed to put our trust in the Most High, our faith in the Most High, stay in His truth and stay diligent and consistent at all times, man. Right? Let's get another one. Sirach chapter 3 and verse number 24. Right? This Sirach chapter 23. So like this Sirach chapter 3 and verse number 24. For many are deceived by their own vain opinions. Right? We're deceived by our own vain opinions, man. Right? A lot of times, people like to push their own opinions. Hey, I want to hear what you have to say. No. Right? My opinions don't matter. Right? What I say out of my own mind does not matter. Right? It has to all line up with the scriptures, man. Right? What does the Bible say? Ultimately, what does the Most High God, Yahweh Shai, say, man? Right? For many are deceived by their own vain opinion, and an evil suspicion have overthrown their judgment. You might have an evil suspicion, and it calls you to judge unrighteously, man. Right? You might think upon something very wicked. Right? Your suspicion of something will cause you to think of a point of, oh, this person doing that, right? They doing this and that without having proof, without actually seeing it, man. Right? Your suspicion will cause you to go off, man. Right? And we can't walk after those ways. Right? I'm gonna read it again. It says, for many are deceived by their own vain opinions, man. If you don't want to be deceived, do not go by your own mind. Go by what is according to the Bible, right? What it says, thus said the Lord, thus said the Holy Bible, each and every time, man. That's the safest way to go, right? Let's get Isaiah chapter 30 and verse number 1, right? This is Isaiah chapter 30 and verse number 1. Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me. That counsel is certain advice, man. Right? Certain thoughts. Right? You take counsel, but it's not of the Most High God. Right? You take counsel, but it's not from the Most High God, man. Right? You kind of want to go to a counselor within the church, man. Right? And they not going to bring out no Bible verses, man. Right? But yet they want to give you advice that they have no knowledge of. Right? But ultimately, they just want your money, man. Right? You got to kind of give $20 at the door before you could hear anything from the pastor, man. Right? You got to put something into ATM. Right? They won't leave you out the store. Hey, we actually had a brother tell us, hey, they would not let him out of the church until he put something into the ATM. So the collection play is just out of the window at this point. They got ATMs in the churches, man. It's only gonna wax worse and worse, man. Right? Evil men and seducers will wax worse and worse, man. Right? This wicked society is just gonna get worse and worse, and the Most High God, Yahweh Shai, is just gonna throw it down, man. Right? So that's why it says, woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, man. You don't want to be in that category of a rebellious child that takes certain advice from wicked men. Or from wicked women, right? Or from the wickedness of this world, man. From your oppressor, from the heathen, man. Right? If another pandemic come on the earth, man, right? Another plague, which, Lord willing, is going to happen. If the so-called white man tell you to take the jab, man, right? And the Most High God tells you to keep the commandments and live, right? You have to put your trust in the Most High. Right? Keep the commandments and live instead of listening to your oppressor telling you to take the jab and live. Right? Keep your belief, your trust in the Most High God at all times, man. You will not be able to make it into the kingdom without having faith and keeping the commandments of Yahweh Shem Shai, as it says in Revelations chapter 22 and verse number 14. Right? We have to do these things. We have to keep the trust in the Most High God at all times, man. Right? And it says that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit. Hey, our people, out here in the world are not walking in the spirit of the Most High. Their covering is of the covering of wickedness, man. Right? A covering of the heathen. Right? Instead of having the spirit of the Most High God, they got a spirit of liars, man. Right? The spirit of deceitfulness. Right? The spirit of just pure wickedness that they don't care who they do it to, man. Right? That they may add sin to sin. That's something that you don't want to do. You don't want to add sin to sin. By believing in men, right? That's a sin in itself, man. Right? And then adding sin unto that is walking after their ways, kind of bowing down to idols. Hey, now you're not keeping the Sabbath day no more. Right? Now you back on the you listening to Pastor Pork Knuckles, right? Passing out the pork knuckles, man. That's off. Right? You back to the catfish, right? You back to the pork pepperoni pizza, man. Eating it every Friday. You going to buy and work on this. You working 7 days a week again, man. Right? You out here smoking the cigarettes because you stressed out. That's madness. Complete madness. That's why it says, woe to the rebellious children. You do not want to be in this category because those rebellious children are keeping their faith in or their trust in men. And they're not keeping the trust in the Most High God. And that's a problem. Right? That walk to go down into Egypt and have not asked my mouth. So like, and have not asked at my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Now, we have in this understanding, right, I believe it's Revelation chapter 11, verse 8, right, that this America is spiritual Sodom in Egypt, huh? So with it saying to trust in the shadows of Egypt, you trust in the things of America. You trust, right? A lot of our people trust that, hey, America's army is going to defeat the so-called UFOs, man. That's madness. That's off. You have to be crazy to think that the U.S. Army is going to beat something they have no idea about. Right? They don't know the power, right, of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, man. Right? Those are angels in those chariots, man, in the so-called UFOs. Right? Those are angels of the Lord, man. You think that the U.S. Army could take down an angel of the Lord? You cannot put your trust in these things, man. You cannot put your trust in America. America can't save you. All right? America is not your God, right? America is going to be thrown down by the hands of the Most High God. So stop putting your trust in this world. If the Most High tells you to do something according to the scriptures, you have to do it. You have to follow after the examples that are written in this book. Right? Let's get Romans chapter 15 and verse number 4. This is Romans chapter 15, right? In verse number 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, man. These are the scriptures, man. The Bible is what is written aforetime. And it was written for our learning. So we have to learn after our forefathers' mistakes. And we have to learn after the righteous brothers and sisters that walked in the ways of Yahweh Shem Shai. Right? That we, through patience and comfort of the scriptures, might have hope. Hey, these scriptures gonna cause you to have hope in these last days, man. That's why it's important to kind of open up this book and read it. Right? With that hope brings trust in the and you have trust in the Most High God. Salakia, right? You'll have trust in the Most High God, following the scriptures, following thus saith the Lord. You have to follow what was written to you for your learning, man. Let's get 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse number 11. 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse number 11, right? And it reads, now all these things happen unto them for examples. Everything that happened to the prophets, everything that happened to the wicked of Israel were for an example unto who? Unto you. In 2023, everything that happened to Yahushua, man, was for an example, right? Unto us to follow after that example, to be willing to lay down our lives for our brethren, man. Everything that happened throughout the scriptures of the mighty prophets, man, were written for an example unto the brothers that call themselves prophets, right? We're going to go through things, man, right? Hey, we might be tortured for this truth, man, right? We gonna go through hardships like crazy, but we have to keep our trust, our faith, our belief in Yahweh Bashem Yahshai, man. Right? So it says, now all these things happen unto them for examples, and they are written for our admonition, upon whom the ends of the world are come. Man, that's plain about tables. It says, and they were written for our admonition, right? Our instructions. These are our instructions, man. So if the Most High God tells us to do something, we have to do it, man. Hey, we have to go by thus said the Lord, thus said the Holy Bible. Even with coming into this truth, man. And this is for the newcomers, man, right? Every single brother, when he was out there, right, and it'd be mighty brothers too, right? That's in this truth, teaching it in sincerity and in truth, and keeping the faith, keeping the commandments of Yahweh Bashem Shai. At that, with them, when they first came into the truth, I'm gonna talk about me, right? When I first came into the truth, right, I had a brother teaching me, right? Kind of out there on the highways and byways. I was there, standing there, right, listening to thus saith the Lord, right? And everything he told me, I wrote it down and had to go back and read it for myself, man. Right? That's how you decipher it. That's how you use your discernment on knowing who's telling the truth and who's telling a lie, huh? Right? Because if somebody comes in and says, if somebody on the highways and byways want to say, right, and this not towards nobody, but if somebody comes on the highways and byways and say, oh, John 3:16 says, for God so loved the whole world and nothing but the world, hey, man, nah. If I ain't never heard John 3:16 before, hey, I got to write that down. I got to go back and read it, right? And it says, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. It didn't say the whole world. So now we know who's lying and who's telling the truth. The Bible is telling the truth. And that man that said that blasphemy is telling a lie, right? So even with all the scriptures that I'm bringing out, hey, you kind of got to write it down, right? On your notebook, go back and read it for yourself, man. That's what brothers encourage, and I know that's what brothers encourage me to do, right? And it works in the long run, right? Because you need this type of discernment. You need to build up that faith with Yahweh Bashem Shai. You need this faith. You need to have trust in Yahweh Bashem Shai. Shalom, brother, right? You need that trust in Yahweh Bashem Shai, because you cannot enter in, right, if you have unbelief, right? Let's get that in Hebrews real quick, right? Hebrews chapter 3, right? And I'm going to start at verse number 16. For some, Salakia. This whole chapter is good, all right? Hebrews chapter 3, I'm going to start at verse number 16. It says, for some, when they had heard, did provoke, howbeit not all that came out of Egypt by Moses. Right? There are some, right? This is talking about Egypt, right? This is talking about Moses and with the Israelites coming out of Egypt, man. Right? There was some that provoked the Most High God to anger, right? So when the Most High God, right? That's why you have to read through the certain accounts in Exodus, right? Where the Most High God told the Israelites to go to war, right? And he'll give certain nations of people into their hands, and the Israelites will overtake them. Hey, the Israelites second guess themselves, man. Right? They were kind of afraid. All right? But the God of Israel, Yahweh Shemel Shai, showed you his power, and yet you still want to second guess yourself. Right? They provoked the Most High God to anger, man. Right? It says, but with whom was he grieved 40 years? Was it not with them that had sinned, whose carcasses fell in the wilderness? So for those that provoked the Most High God, their carcasses did fall in the wilderness, right? So we see that they could not enter in because of unbelief. A lot of Israelites that walked through the wilderness with Moses did not make it into the kingdom because it was because their unbelief. That unbelief is a lack of faith. That lack of faith is also not having trust in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. See, these are the examples that we need to go after, right? We need to learn from our wicked forefathers' mistakes, right? So that we won't make the mistakes and ultimately we won't get destroyed just like they did. Because the Most High has no problem with sifting out or destroying disobedient children, man. It's plain upon tables when you go through the accounts of the Bible, right? So we see that they could not enter in because of unbelief. You need belief in Yahweh Shem Shai. You need to have faith in Yahweh Shem Shai to make it into the kingdom, man. Right? There's no other way, right? Let's get Psalms chapter 118, right? Psalms 118 and verse number 8, right? This is Psalms chapter 118 and verse number 8. And it reads, it is better to trust in the Lord than to put confidence in man. It is better to put your trust in the Most High God than a confidence in man. Your confidence is supposed to come from the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shai, right? It's supposed to give you that confidence to be able to speak out, to speak thus saith the Lord, right? To be confident in all your walks, right? It's to stand bold for Yahweh Shem Shai. It's very important to put your trust in the Most High God, right? Verse number 9, it is better to trust in the Lord than to put confidence in princes, man. You have to put your trust in the Most High God over everybody on the earth, man. You can't, the Most High comes first, man, right? The Most High is over your mama. Yeah, the Most High is over your daddy, right? Yeah, the Most High God is over your uncle, your auntie, your cousins, your best friend. The Most High God is over all of them. You put your trust in the Most High God first, man. Trust in the Most High God first at all times, man. Because the Most High God is not going to deceive you. The Most High God is righteous in all his ways, man. Right? Let's get Isaiah chapter 29 and verse 13. All right? This is Isaiah chapter 29 and verse number 13. Wherefore the Lord saith, for as much as this people draw near me with their mouth and with their lips do honor me, but have removed their heart far from me, and their fear toward me is tough. So that's what's going on, man. That's going on with our people, right? They remove their hearts from the Most High God. They remove their mind from the Most High God, and that's going back to Mark chapter 7 and verse number 7, where now they're going back to the traditions of men. You have to constantly keep your mind on Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai each and every day, or your mind will go off, right? You might have wicked thoughts, man, right? You might feel slothful now. I don't want to read, right? I don't feel like teaching today, man. I'm too tired. I just got off of work, right? Nah, man. You have to constantly have your mind on Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, man, because ultimately doing this work of the Lord is going to get you into the kingdom, man. Brothers, notice, when you come into this truth, you might lose out on some sleep, man. Brothers might get 2 or 3 hours in to sleep. Gotta go to work. As soon as you get off of work, now you gotta do a class. Now you gotta teach. Now you gotta get into the scriptures. Now you gotta pull these precepts. Now you have to, you might have to teach your wife. You might have to teach your children, right? But all of this is for Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai because you keep your trust in the Most High God, man. Let's get Proverbs chapter 3 and verse number 5. right? This is Proverbs chapter 3 and verse number 5. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart and lean not to thy own understanding. Verse number 6, it says, in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. Right? Trust in the Lord with all your heart, man. With all your mind. With all your spirit. Trust in the Most High God because, hey, at the end of the day, all said and done, the Most High God is going to be by your side, man, no matter what. But you have to follow after the instructions that he has given you, and the instructions are right here, man. Right? So I hope and pray, right, that brothers and sisters will edify through this video and the power of Yahweh Shem Shai, right? Let's continue to keep this faith, right, the trust, right, the belief, and keeping the commandments of Yahweh Shem Shai in these last days while all hell is getting ready to break loose, Israel, right? Shalom, Israel. I love y'all. Kwam Yashala.